running slow? If so, it could be your throttle body. This is Jim and Chris, and we're working today on a 2009 Chevy Impala with a 3.5 liter engine. Our blue driver pulled a code that's a P2135. You may have also seen a P2138. We pulled a repair report, and the top reported fix was in fact the throttle body. Chris?
This is a real easy DIY repair, no special tools required, and you're looking at about an hour or so of work.
The throttle body is part of the air intake system that controls the amount of air flowing into the engine. When the gas pedal is pressed, the throttle body valve opens to allow air into the engine. This actuation used to be controlled by a cable that would run directly to the gas pedal. On today's newer vehicles, the valve is controlled by an electric motor located on the side of the part. Now, let's get started.
For this job, we'll need an 8 and 10 millimeter socket, a ratchet or an impact gun, a 1/4 inch torque wrench, and a screwdriver can help you remove the cables from the mass airflow sensor and the throttle body. All right, so we're going to get started by taking this plastic cover off the intake and valve cover. First, we'll remove the filler for the oil. Put that aside. Then this cover just clips on in two places. There's one right there and one right there. So you just kind of reach underneath and remove it and pop it off over here. Then you can take that and put it aside. All right, so we've got two connectors to remove. First, we'll do the mass airflow sensor. So you just pull up on the gray clip, press in, and unplug. The second one is the connector for the throttle body. So same thing, you just pull up on the gray tab, press in, and unplug it. All right, and then we disconnect this vent line here. Just pull back, slide that tab in, and pull up. So now we're going to loosen these two hose clamps. And then we can remove this completely. If you want to get some more space to work in, you can remove the cover here. And pull this aside, and that just gives you some more room to work with. So now we have two nuts that we removed that hold the heater pipe in place. And these are both 10 millimeter. Now with those two nuts removed, we can take the heater pipe, pull it loose, and then reposition it just underneath the throttle body. We have two nuts and two bolts to remove. All four are 10 millimeter. And with those removed, you can just pull the throttle body away.
All right, Chris, thanks. So here it is, the throttle body's been removed. Many times you can fix your problem by just simply cleaning the throttle body. So that this does get gunked up over time, and we would recommend cleaning it before you remove it. In this case, we are removing and replacing the whole thing. Also, your troubleshooting may find that it's just the sensor and electronics on the bottom that need to be replaced, in which case we replace the whole thing. This becomes an extra repair step. In addition, it does not cost much more to buy the whole throttle body itself. Okay, so here we have the new throttle body going in. This one has the gasket already installed. Make sure that you have a new gasket and never ever reuse the gasket. It's also important that you clean the surface, as the one that came out of this car was pretty dirty, so that surface will be cleaned as well.
So we take our new throttle body, hold this heater pipe out of the way, slide it over the studs on the bottom, push it into place. Now we take our new bolts that came with the throttle body, and we'll thread them in. So next we get our torque wrench, and we're going to set that to 89 inch-pounds. Now we take the heater pipe and we put it back in place over the studs. Then we take our 10 millimeter nuts and screw them on. And these are tightened to 89 inch-pounds as well. All right, so next we're going to reinstall the air filter. Now we're going to reinstall the ducting. This vent line here goes on the throttle body side. Now we just push this hose back on until it snaps in place. Then we'll reconnect our throttle body cable. Push down on the gray tab. And our mass airflow sensor. And push down on the tab. And we will reinstall the intake cover. Now you see here, there are two clips, there and there, line up with there and there.
In this step, now that everything's all put back together, we need to verify that the throttle body is operating correctly. To do that, we actuate the accelerator pedal inside the vehicle. So we place the vehicle in key on, engine off position, so don't start the vehicle. Key on, engine off. You can hear the beeps. And then I'm just going to simply actuate the accelerator. And Chris, with his scan tool, is going to monitor the position of the throttle.
We've got our scan tool connected. Now Jim's going to hit the gas, and we're going to keep an eye on the throttle to make sure that it's opening and closing properly, nothing's binding up, and just to make sure everything's working properly. All right. You can see it opening there now.
The throttle body is tested out good, as you saw. So now we're going to start the engine. The engine is going to idle for 3 minutes while it relearns the proper throttle setting. As throttle bodies age and get carbon buildup, the engine adjusts over time, and now it has to relearn now that there's a new part in there. Okay, the idle relearn is complete. This car started at about 1,500 RPM and came down to just under 1,000 RPM in under a minute. Your vehicle may take a little longer depending on how gunked up your throttle body was. Now you're ready to go ahead and clear the code. But that does not mean you can go take an emission test. Emission test requires your monitors be set, which means you have to complete your drive cycle. Drive cycle takes about 45 minutes. You don't need to do that, and your car will be operating normally, but you will not pass an emission test until your drive cycle is complete. So everything's done, we're all buttoned up here, and here's hoping that the power comes back to your car. I think we're good to go.